Hi, welcome to eoLIFE Education. My name is Rosie Grimmert, and myself and other eoLIFE experts, we come here to teach you all about how to use doTERRA's essential oils and doTERRA products. It's our mission that you don't ever have an essential oil or a doTERRA product that you don't know how to use. Hey, if this is your first time here, be sure and subscribe, hit that bell, because then every time that we put something up for you, you'll get notified. And of course, we love it if you would like this video too. We do our very best to answer every single question, and we love hearing in the comments about what's working for you. So hey, let's get learning here on eoLIFE Education.
So tonight we're talking about empowering our kids with essential oils. And this is a little bit different than our standard 8 continuing education classes, but this is where I think we get to have some fun, where we get to take all of our oil knowledge, what we're doing, what we're learning, and be able to implement it in all areas of our life, and not just those first 8 classes that we all take. If you have never taken those classes, if you've never been part of an introduction class, I want to invite you to join us Saturday morning, where our amazing mentor, Rosie Grimmert, is going to be teaching us an intro class that really helps you to understand what to do when you get your box of oils. How do you open them? Because yes, you don't want to just sit them in a box and put them on a shelf. You want to open them and use them. And she's going to walk you through all of the things that you need to know to get started with your essential oils, all the basics, how to use them. It's a fantastic class and a great way to get started. So make sure you mark your calendar for Saturday morning for the intro class with Rosie. But tonight we're going to talk about kids. This class came about because as a mom, I found it imperative to the success of my family that my child learn how to choose which oils to use, when to use them, and how to be confident in her own body and her ability to listen to what her body was asking for. Many of you have heard our story about how I came to doTERRA to support Katrina through her respiratory issues. That is a story in and of itself. We're not going to get into that tonight, but if you want to hear about it, check out our recording on the eoLIFE YouTube channel, where I talked all about how we did the breathing thing, how the respiratory issues worked, and that whole story is already there and recorded in a class just for you on YouTube. So check that out. But tonight we're going to learn a little bit more, because as I was learning about the oils and as I was experimenting, figuring out what to do, I felt so empowered as a mother to have tools and resources that I could use to help support our everyday health. But the real magic for me happened when I learned and watched my daughter start advocating for her own health. It was the most liberating part of parenting that I've had yet. And so I am super passionate about helping to teach your kids how to think about the oils, how to use them, when to use them, not just to follow the instructions that I give her, but how to really figure that out for herself. So tonight we're going to share our stories. We're going to share some tips to introduce oils to your kids and how to encourage your children to develop that desire to be their own body's advocate in a world of natural living. But the journey is just beginning, okay? So without any further ado, we're going to kick this party off. And there's a couple things that we always want people to know. First of all, there are 3 really cool things about essential oils. And that is that they are safe, they are effective, and they are affordable. If you want to know more about it, it'll all be covered in detail at the intro class on Saturday. But tonight, just remember that there's a great way to use these oils. They are safe. We can count on them to be tools for our families, and that is exciting. There's also 3 really cool ways to use the oils, and we're going to talk about some of them tonight, in that we can use them aromatically, we can use them topically, and we can use them internally. Sorry. So when we're talking about the oil specifically, how to empower your children to use the essential oils, let's also remember that your kids are individuals. They may or may not love the oils when they're first introduced to them. And if you fear you may have children resistant to using essential oils when you first bring them into your home, then I recommend that you make a game of it. Let your kids smell an oil. Sorry, we just realized that half of our notes are missing, so this is going to be interesting. Let your kids smell an oil and guess what it is. Let them choose what goes in the diffuser, allowing them to discover the beauty of the oils rather than forcing them to use an oil that they may not like. This is all about a journey. We want them to fall in love with the process. We want them to use the oils and not have it be a bargaining chip between parents and children, and not to be something that we fight over. So let's also remember that as we go through the oils, they are incredibly safe for our kids to use. They're potent and they're powerful. This means we want to keep some safety tips in mind when you're using your oils with children. First of all, until your children learn how to use oils safely with a parent, it's probably best to store your oils out of reach from the children so they don't just dip into them anytime they want. Now, if your kids are a little older, if they can read, if they've had some experience with mom or dad, then it's totally okay for them to have access to the essential oils when they understand how to use them. We also want to make sure that if your kids have access to the oils while they're learning, you may want to keep the hot oils out of your case, or maybe indicate on the label like oregano or cassia. Some of those oils that are just a little bit hotter, you know, having them open that oil and smell it or touch it to their nose is not going to make an oil lover of anybody. So make sure you keep that in mind when your kids are experimenting with the oils and trying them for the first time. We also want to show our kids how to dilute essential oils and store your favorite oil or your favorite carrier oil near your essential oil collection. And that way they get used to the idea of diluting oils, and that they don't have to ever wonder if they should dilute, because it's always okay to dilute an oil. There's never a wrong time to do it. And as they get older, they'll be able to explore with you or on their own if their body needs every oil diluted, or if there's a few that they could use neat. But to begin with, it's a great practice just to teach them, if they're using the oils topically, to always use a carrier oil, and then you don't have to worry about any of those safety concerns. The more that we force our kids to like the oils, the more likely they are to push away. So let's just take it from there. And tonight, I'm gonna let the real expert in the room do a lot of the talking. I'd like to introduce you to my daughter, Katrina. She is an incredible 13-year-old who has been using the oils since she was 4 years old. She is forever sharing oils with friends and taught her first doTERRA class with her cousins when she was only 6 years old. That's what the picture on friends about the oils. Tonight, she's here to share the oils from a kid's perspective.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here and hope we can have some fun.
So what are we doing now, right? This is where I started with my oil journey. I'm Stacey Cahill. I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate, a single homeschooling mama, and most importantly, I'm Katrina's mom. I've been using doTERRA since November of 2011. And when I started, I had no clue what I was doing, or even if these little brown bottles would work. I started by sharing the Breathe oil with Katrina to support her respiratory system. And we found such a dramatic result in a short amount of time that our friends and family started to notice. Within a few months, I knew that sharing the power of doTERRA was my calling. And within a few years, I was able to claim doTERRA as my full-time career of choice that supported our little family. Along the way, I was reading and learning and trying to figure out what to do with these oils. Well, Katrina was my sidekick every step of the way. She worked with me on the behind the scenes stuff, like making samples and making sure I always had oils in my purse. And she attended hundreds of classes that I was teaching over the years. So tonight we're gonna shut off the slides and just chat about our story in hopes that it will inspire you to get your children involved in their own oil journey. We'll have time at the end for a few questions. So please jot those down, put them in the chat box, and we'll take it from there. Now give me 1 second and I'll stop sharing the screen. You want to grab that, Katrina? We're going to take really quickly and see if I can get our notes to print out the second time, because what looked like they were all there was not. So while I'm waiting for that to pop up, I would love if anybody who would like a class handout, we do have a special gift for those people participating live tonight. Drop your email in the form that Rosie's putting in the chat box, both on Facebook and Zoom, and I will send you out a free gift just for attending tonight with some more details and all of the logistics of oils and kids. All right. Katrina, what you grabbing? Go figure. She put us on hold to grab an oil. I would love to also hear from all of you on Facebook who are watching, and if you happen to hop on Zoom, if you have kids or grandkids that you're working with, what ages they are. All right, I think we're ready. Katrina, grab the notes. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. You know, nothing ever goes quite as you expect, so we're gonna just roll with it, and I promise giving 30 seconds to let her have her notes so she's not nervous is going to be worth it for all of us, because what Katrina has to share is pretty powerful stuff. All right. You want to see? There's where we start.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is ask Katrina some questions, and you guys get to sit along on our conversation. Like I said, if you have questions that pop up, please put them in the chat box. We'll get to them at the end. But all right, Katrina, let's start with some basics. What do you think are the best ways parents can introduce oils to their kids?
Fun way is always the best way. Let your kids play with the oils by guessing which one you open or putting a drop on a cotton ball to let them smell it. Making it a game keeps it fun. Fun is always fun. So, if they're old enough to have an opinion, encourage them to choose their favorites and describe how they feel after smelling each oil. This introduces them to listening to their own bodies.
That's great advice. Do you remember when you first started listening to your body and how it felt?
Nope. I do remember learning to tell if my lungs were gunky, tight, swollen, or inflamed, though.
How did you first become aware of that?
Well, it was pretty much listening to you with all of your classes. You talked about how we would use oils like digestin or lime on my chest and back to break up the gunk if I was full of mucus, or how other times you would use frankincense under my tongue or on my chest or back to bring down occasional inflammation. By hearing you describing and putting on the oils to the feelings, I started to become more aware of how my body felt and learn which oils matched that feeling.
So would you say that parents giving kids the words to use not only describe how they're feeling, really helps to be able to put the oil with it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're trying to empower our kids to do anything. We are most likely to succeed when we have their buy-in. For little ones, that's super easy. They don't get to fight back. They don't have a say. We can dilute the oils. We can apply them to their feet. We can put it on crib sheets or keep it near them in a diffuser. But once those little ones start having a voice, how do we get them to embrace the oils? Some kids fall in love with it right away, and there's no question that they're going to beat you to the oil case every single time because there's something in there they want. And other kids are a little bit more resistant. Either they're not sure of the smell or they had an experience with an oil that they just didn't like. So how do we get them involved? Well, this could be something, you know, as simple as linking habits. One of the things that I like to do with Katrina when she was little is put certain oils by habits that she had to do. On Guard was part of her everyday life. With a compromised immune system, that added support to protect us was a given. So every morning by our shoes, there was a bottle of On Guard, often in a roller bottle diluted, ready for Katrina. So before she put shoes on, she would roll the On Guard on the bottom of her feet to boost her immune system right away. I also learned to put a bottle of lavender or Breathe for her on the nightstand or in the bathroom on the counter where she brushed her teeth. So that every night before she fell asleep, she would get her diffuser going. And she knew that a drop of lavender was just as important as brushing the plaque off her teeth. These little things, helping them choose an oil for their diffuser or choosing to start with a citrus oil that smells so good and they love it, could be the best way to introduce them to the oils. If they're a little more resistant, you can also incorporate it in fun play ways. Like maybe put a drop of citrus oil in some yogurt and let them help make their dip for their fruit for a snack. They get exposure to what the oils can do. They learn different ways that they are able to be used, and they start to have fun with it and trust the oils. I also think it's really a great idea when we're working with kids to involve them as much as you can. You know, Katrina mentioned playing those games with the oils, but I've worked with kids professionally for years. That was my career before I did doTERRA. And one of my favorite things when I started carrying my oil case around is when I was at work or when I was in a location where I had kids around, whether they were cranky or they were just hyper or they just needed a few minutes of attention, I knew I could open my oil case and just let them pick and choose and smell an oil and tell me what it smelled like. I have yet to have a kid who opens an oil case and isn't in awe and wonder at the power of those amazing little bottles. So we're going to talk about some of those different things, but I think just as the first and foremost lesson for parents getting used to oils with your kids, let them play with them. Expose them to the oils. Don't hide them away on a shelf where the kids can never use them. Teach them to be respectful of the oils and maybe not just go and grab a whole bottle whenever they want or hide them in their room like some people I know, but keep it something that they're open to. You know, another thing is to give them words. You know, we are so used to talking to our children and other people talking to our children in ways that may or may not seem comfortable. Things like, you know, we want to give them the words to say, you know, I'm feeling a little cranky. Can you go get me some wild orange? I think I need a happy oil. That helps kids to realize that, one, parents have emotions too, and they help to find the problem with the solution. Or in a physical way, you could just say something along the lines of, oh, I noticed your nose is a little runny today. Do you need some breathe in your diffuser? Anytime you can partner what they might be feeling or experiencing with the oil that might help them, you are empowering them with knowledge that is going to serve them well for the rest of their life. So without more of that, let's get on to some specific examples. Katrina, you up for a little game?
Why not?
I am going to give you a scenario, and I'm going to see if you can guess what I'm talking about and what oil you would use. So for the first one, let's say you have a little tickle in your throat, your nose gets kind of runny, your eyes are kind of itchy and watery. Allergies? Allergies?
Wait. Seasonal distress.
Yeah! So what would you do for that?
Tries. I do tries every day. Or as needed, but if it's really bad, I will do a shot glass with water, honey, lemon, lavender, peppermint. It's torture, but it works.
Torture?
Yeah, it's awful. But for the younger kids who can't swallow, it works well. Or putting it on their feet.
Just each oil, layering it? A roller bottle?
Roller bottle, layering it, either way.
All right. Okay, so the next one. If I'm lying in bed and I know that my parents are making snacks and I'm probably not supposed to be awake, but I'm feeling super energized, what should I do?
Well, you're dealing with not being able to sleep.
Yeah.
So I usually will put Serenity in my diffuser, but if I don't have Serenity, I'll put lavender because that also works really well. But if you don't have a diffuser, just put a drop or two on the back of your neck, feet, chest, pretty much anywhere. Just do not do too much, otherwise it will do the opposite of what you want.
And that is?
Keeping you awake longer.
You could put lavender anywhere. Maybe not eyes.
No, eyes is not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not your eyes. You don't
No
want oils in your
the
eyes or your ears. That's just
Or nose.
not directly, no. Smell them. Inhale them. Don't put them up your nose. That's bad. All right. So what would you say for a child that doesn't really like lavender?
Let them choose an oil. Our bodies will tell us what we need.
What do you mean?
I like to just grab a random oil. So I'll stick my hand in the case and my body will just tell me which one I need with like a tug in my gut sort of a feeling.
All right.
Sometimes I will use a pendulum or muscle test, but even without that, kids generally know what they need if adults give them the opportunity to do it themselves.
Okay, so for those of you listening that are going, what? What did she just say? Muscle testing and pendulums, those are some of the tools that we can use to help get in tune with our body's intuition. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but if you're curious about that, again, check out our YouTube channel. Dawn Beam just did an amazing class about this a couple weeks ago, and it's posted on our YouTube channel, all about using tools to get in touch with your own intuition. Okay, so Katrina, if the kids are brand new to oil, would you let them choose any oil, or would you select a few for like sleeping, Would you give them all like petitgrain, lavender, Aromatouch, basil, vetiver, Roman chamomile, balance? Would you give them a bunch? Give them the whole case? What would you do?
Give them a few to choose because too many can be overwhelming. Don't forget juniper berry for nightmares.
Juniper berry.
Also, the kids can make their own little monster spray.
Monster spray. You might have to tell us the recipe for that one later.
All right.
Okay, so next up, what if I'm supposed to be reading or doing homework and I just don't want to sit still, or my brain is a million miles away because it's a sunny, beautiful day?
You mean if you can't focus? Well,
Yeah.
I use balance a lot or in tune, either topically or in diffuser while I'm on the table doing school. My friends like thinker, but I'd much rather balance or in tune.
Okay, so what other oils do you share with your friends at school? Why?
Peppermint and rosemary for the days we have tests or are studying. Need to remember stuff. Wild orange or their favorite oil. For me, that's wild orange. That always helps me focus.
All right, so earlier you mentioned oils for emotions. So let's try some of those emotional needs. So if you're feeling nervous and you're unsure about going someplace, which oil would you grab?
Balance. Balance is probably one of my go-tos for just about everything. Adaptive also is really good for nervous or focus for me. Brave is another great one in the kids collection that can just be rolled onto a wrist or back of the neck and give us a confidence boost.
I know a lot of kids that get a little excited, a little hyper. What oils would help them calm down a little, especially when they're at school?
Lavender, balance, calmer, all the good ones.
All right, well, let's talk for just a minute about the kids collection. Now, the kids collection is something that came out just a few years ago. And, well, Katrina, what do you think about the kids collection?
Well, every family should have it because it's a great idea. The kids can get to learn from the oils with the flashcards and can just have fun with them. And, well, for me, I personally don't love them because I've been using the regular oils for so long that when they came out, I just wasn't used to grabbing it and kept forgetting to grab it. But I do love Stronger.
All right, well, let's talk about these oils. Stronger. Stronger is one of the ones that Katrina loves. This is the immune support oil for children. Now, the kids collection is this amazing, cute kit. It comes with a little carabiner so it can hang on to their backpack. And then it has the different oils in there that have their own little hooks. Now, Stronger, this is what Katrina's going to show you while I do the oil. She's going to show you on the flashcards how easy doTERRA has made this. If you are new to oils or you're introducing oils to your kids for the first time, this is a great place to start because the oils have little pictures on them. The flashcards have little pictures that say, look, this oil is good for my body. Stronger is a protective blend. It's going to be a great oil to help boost their immune system. This could replace that On Guard I was talking about, putting on the feet before their shoes. Great way to use it and just give them a little boost. We also have oils in here that have, this is Brave, a little heart on them. So what do we know about an oil that has a heart on it?
It's heart healthy.
Heart healthy or good for your emotional balance. Brave is going to help make you just feel a little more confident. This has a blend of oils that is great for emotional support, to let children just feel grounded, to feel more secure in who they are and where they are in the world. So Brave is another fantastic oil. Am I missing something on the flashcards?
No.
Oh. We also have these ones that have a little brain in the picture. So Calmer is one in the kids collection that we do pull out and use a little bit more often. And the Calmer is a great one for bedtime to help them calm down. But it's also great when you're doing that homework, when you're studying, where you just need to kind of slow the brain down, calm down a little bit, and feel more at ease and at peace. Now, one of the things that I have learned about the kids collection is that when it first came out, like Katrina, I just forgot about it. We had already been in a routine. We knew what oils we needed. I loved the idea. I pulled them out every once in a while, but I didn't get into a good routine with them. And actually just a couple months ago in one of our Thursday night classes, Krista Strayer was talking about these oils, and she had us use them and pull them out during some different things in her class. And I was blown away at the immediate response that my body had to these oils. And ever since then, I've been using them more often and realized that although it's a kids collection, it's not just for the kids. But here's another oil. This one is another one that has the brain on it. It's the Thinker. Can we look really quick? On the oil flashcards, not only does it tell you the body part and the name, but it does give you a little information on the back. What I love about this is that if you are just getting started or your kid can't read yet, they can match the color, the brain to the oil, and you can explain what that means and they'll remember that. So we have Thinker, which we talked about for helping with homework and focus. We also have, we'll do this one first, Steady. Steady is another heart oil. It's good to with that emotional balance. It's kind of like the balance for adults, but a different aroma, and that's a beautiful smell. So when you need your kids just to kind of calm down, this is a good one that I love to use before car trips. When I'm going to be in the car for a while and I just need to be chill and ready to go and kind of ready for traffic or whatever comes my way. But the kids, it's a great one to use when they're on their way to school. And then we have Rescuer. Rescuer is like growing pains and joint pains and muscles and falling down in boo-boos, and this is your oil for all of those things. Rescuer is going to come to your rescue every single time. And the last oil in the kids collection doesn't have a cool little clip on it yet, but is the Tamer. Now Tamer is for your digestive system. Tamer is all about helping with an upset tummy, soothing an upset tummy, and it's also great when you get butterflies in your tummy. I don't know what it is about that blend, but I feel like it's a magic final piece to the collection. So those are the kids collection oils, and I just think it's important to look at all of the different options. If you haven't chosen where to start yet, that is one of the top places to start with your kids, is to get that kids collection so you have the easy learning right there with the flashcards. All right, so let's change gears a little bit. And can you tell me how you handle some of these different common concerns from kids? Like, we're talking about kids and using them in school, or just in general. What do you do with kids when they don't like the smell, or they just, you know that they need the oil, they could benefit from the oil, but they're not a fan of how it smells? What would you do?
Mix it with another oil that they love. It always will make it smell better, and apply it to the feet where the smell is hidden.
Okay, what if the child's afraid that they're gonna go to school and smell kind of funny?
I honestly don't know. That's a hard one because it's a real fear for some kids, and sometimes they can get teased, but I have not experienced that.
Fair enough. I would suggest, if that's one of your child's concerns, but maybe you apply it, like Katrina said, to the bottom of their feet, so they can get the benefit of the essential oil without necessarily having the smell of it. But if it's an oil that they need throughout the day, some of the ways to avoid that discomfort or the kid being nervous about using it around their friends is encourage them to put it on at recess or lunchtime. Take it to the bathroom with them so they can just open the bottle up and smell it. That way they can get the benefit of the essential oil without necessarily putting it on and drawing attention. Because let's face it, you can't hide the smell of a good essential oil. All right. So what about the parents who worry about giving their kids oils to take to school because they don't want them lost or stolen?
Teeny tiny little sample bottles in a keychain. That way they can have the oils that they need, but not be responsible for the big bottles. And it's easier to be discreet.
Discreet? Or easier to give away?
I guess I do have to go away all of my oils most of the time to my friends.
Yes, yes you do. Tell me about that. Why? How? Is it ever been a bad idea?
I give them to my friends mainly because half the times I either run out of the ones that I give them for a birthday present or something, or they haven't gotten any yet. So during class, I'll be like putting on one of my oils, be like, oh, can I have some? I'm like, sure. So sometimes they'll end up, like, I'll give them a sample to have for the day, and I never see it again.
All right, so you mentioned keychains. Yes, we often give Katrina's friends a keychain of their own oils for their birthdays because they love her oils and they're always asking to borrow them, they're asking to use them, and it's a great way to get them their own little starter kit that we can tailor to exactly what that child would like. But Katrina, what do we always ask you to do before you share oils with your friends?
Okay.
You can't yawn, we're talking here.
I know. Make sure that they know how to use them. You don't want to be giving someone oils that they don't know how to use. That just does not end up well. And if I can, I will ask the parents if I can give them to them just so that they know, so to be safe. The most popular oils I will give are lavender, wild orange, peppermint, on guard, and balance.
And geranium.
Yeah, I love my geranium.
Okay, so that brings up a good question. If you were to tell parents which oils they should have for their kids, besides the obvious kids collection we talked about, which oils are the most important in your opinion?
On guard, especially right now. Balance for keeping focus and emotions in check. Wild orange for those times that we're having a bad day or just need a happy oil. Deep blue rub for the very, very, very not welcome growing pains.
That's what we're dealing with in our house.
Or sports injuries. Digestion for those awkward times when the tummy starts to rumble. And breathe because it helps before exercising, also before having to speak in front of class or trying to just not snore at a sleepover.
That's important. It can be very embarrassing to snore a lot at a sleepover.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so I think for me as a mom, I would add to that list Clary Calm. No matter what age your child is, we all have hormones and they show up when you least expect them to. So whether you're dealing with a 5-year-old or a 15-year-old, having some Clary Calm for girls and boys is a really good idea because when those hormones start taking over your child and you don't recognize them, just a little swipe of Clary Calm can make all the difference in the world. All right, so I want to be respectful of time and we don't have a lot of time left. So let's change subjects for just a second and talk about some of the other ways that we use oils in our home.
Play-Doh! One of my all-time favorite ways to be artsy is to do my Play-Doh. I also do make bath bombs with them, lip balms, cooking, cleaning. We don't have the chemicals for the cleaning. And well, I think I'm the only kid out there that likes to clean the bathroom.
I think you are the only kid that likes to clean the bathroom and the toilets. And let me tell you, when you're using the safe, non-toxic cleaners that doTERRA has, like the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, or making your own cleaners using Purify or On Guard or lemon, tea tree, we have so many different oils that we can make our own household cleaners. And then you can just hand your child a rag and the spray, or if they're toddlers and maybe can't spray yet, spray a little bit of that onto a rag and let them go at the floor or the counter or the toilet. When you're not introducing toxins, your kids can learn to clean at a much younger age. And let me tell you, it will serve you so well to have that extra set of hands. So parents, get the cleaning, get the kids. That's tip number 101 I would recommend for anybody using our oils to make sure that you take advantage of them in that way as well. We also like to use the oils, to make things like baby wipes or moon sand, fun soaps. All of those recipes are on doTERRA.com. If you look on there for the DIY recipes or the blogs. And doTERRA also has a really cool science workbook for children. So all of that's on our website, doTERRA.com. And look out for that because you can find a ton of different recipes and it's great to do while the kids are home and have so many kids looking for something more to learn. Okay, so let's get really specific for a few minutes and talk about your age group. When we're talking about oils for preteens, tweens, teens, what are some of the very specific things that you and your friends are finding important right now at this stage?
Lots and lots of deep blue for growing pains, or me and a couple of my friends are in archery, so we often will pull muscles. But massaging it into my leg or my arm, wherever it hurts from either growing or pulled muscle, it's incredible. Then soaking in Epsom salt bath with deep blue or lemongrass and lavender helps relieve some of the pain. Also, I know lots of my friends, not me yet, are getting braces, which they've told me how they feel lots of pressure in their jaw and get little headaches. I've suggested that they use On Guard or Clove as a mouth rinse to help numb the gums a little bit, or lavender on their jawline. Sometimes wintergreen to soothe it a little bit, but be a bit more careful of that. And of course, we're also using the HD Clear set. Thank you, hormones, for breakouts. Washing my face is still a habit I'm trying to get mastered at, but I do notice a huge difference when I use the foaming face wash and EH Clear. It does help wonders when I'm making blemishes go away. I think the last thing is more than just one oil. I don't know if it's because I'm aged or just because I'm human, but emotions are hard. I know when I get grumpy or sassy, I need to grab an oil before this one makes me grab one.
You get sassy?
Just drop in my hand and taking a few deep breaths for diffusing it. When I'm in my room, it helps me not to feel so agitated. I think all teens should have their own little emotional aromatherapy set. This is a go-to collection that makes it easy for me to get my emotions in check without having to grab a book or look up which specific oil may help. I have yet to find an attitude that 1 to 6 oils doesn't help. I think if more teens had console, peace, and forgive, there'd be a whole lot less attitude issues at home.
I think you're right. Well, on that.
Hey, it's Rosie Grimmer again. Thanks for watching the video. We're so happy to provide things here for you to learn all about using your doTERRA oils and your doTERRA products. Hit subscribe, like the video, and share this with somebody else you know that would love to learn too. See you next time.